Congratulations, you've just installed your first Linux install. But now you're wondering, what on earth do I do and what does any of this mean? And some of the first pieces of instructions that you see are open a terminal and run this command. Well, what on earth does that mean? What is a terminal? How do you use it? And do you actually need it? Well, today, welcome to my brand new series called Day One with Linux. This is where I'm going to be running a whole series of videos for the brand new user, just like you, to answer some of the absolute basics of Linux use. And today, as you've clicked on it and seen, this one is all about the terminal. So the aim of this channel, GNU to Linux, is Linux without the gatekeeping. So I'm going to try and make this as simple as I possibly can, just so everybody can understand it, because it is a new world you're entering into here. It's an awesome world, but it is new, and I appreciate not everybody is tech savvy or knows all the lingo, because why would you need to? So let me break down what a terminal is, how you use it, and give you a couple of commands that you can run straight away, just so you can understand how it works. So let's jump in. So I think the first thing we need to do is, what is a terminal? Why do people keep saying this? Well, the terminal is basically a text way of communicating with your computer. It's as simple as that. It's just a way of talking to your computer and asking it how to do things and asking it to run certain things for you and give you an answer. It's the same as using your GUI, which is your graphical user interface. You'll see it pronounced GUI or GUI in a lot of places, but it just means the visual representation of your PC. So all your icons, all your desktop, your bars across the top, all your buttons, that is a GUI, graphical user interface. Well, the terminal is all behind that, and what it does, it means you can skip all that and go straight to the computer. So it's like the quick route. If you think of the GUI as like the tour guide showing you around, then the terminal is the one who's actually doing the work. It's the actual worker, not the flashy one showing everybody around. It's the worker getting stuff done. That is how the terminal works. That's how my simple brain remembers it anyway. So I'm going to break down where you can find it. So depending on what you're running, depending on which system you've installed, it will all be slightly different. So I'm using KDE and OpenSUSE here, and the terminal here is called console. So you may see it called console or command line or terminal. So go into your search, press the Windows or whatever key you want to call that now, super key, and just either type TER to start typing terminal or console and just see what comes up. But you're looking for the terminal is what you're looking for. So see if you can find that first. So on mine, it's called console because I'm on KDE as a desktop environment. That is the one I choose. And I'm going to show you what, so as soon as you open it up, it comes with a string at the top, a string of text. So let me break down what this actually means. So you can see here, mine says GNU to Linux at OpenSUSE box and some funny little characters. So let's break down what is this. So the first bit is the name of the user, GNU to Linux. That's my PC. That's the username I have on my PC. Then you have the @ symbol. So it's that user at that machine, and the machine is called OpenSUSE box because that's the name I named the machine. That's all I did. And then you've got the little double dots there, and that just shows you where right now your system is located. So it's like what part of the file system are we sat in now? And that just means the home folder. Simple as that. You're in the home folder of your PC, and you might have a little hash sign or a dollar sign or a little squiggle. It depends at the end here what system you're running. It doesn't really matter. You don't need to worry about this bit. And then your cursor at the end might be blinking, or it might be solid like mine is. And usually you can change all the settings in your terminal setup if you want. You can change everything on Linux. It's amazing. That's why it's so amazing. But it doesn't really matter. These are more just vanity things you can change. So there you go. So that is all that text says. So I'm going to give you 3 commands now to just get you used to how you use the terminal. Now, I will say straight away, we must warn you, because this is especially for new users. Please do not just copy and paste blindly any commands that you see on random forum posts, because you can do some serious damage here, especially if they've got administrator rights. So I must make sure you're aware. Don't just be typing any old commands in if you don't understand what they do. If you don't know what they do, I mean, please paste it below. Let me know. Ask the community. The Linux community is incredible. Go and find, but there are always dodgy people in any community, so they will try and catch you out. So you never know. Don't trust anybody blindly. Find out, try and work out what that command does, and try and find it on like the official forums or the official pages, not random Reddit posts. But there you go. That's just my little precursor of a warning. So what 3 commands are we going to run? So the first one is very simple. Who am I? So when you type in who am I, what do you think comes up? Press enter. It says you are GNU to Linux. It's like saying, well, this is you. This is your username. Simple as that. That's it. You are talking to your computer. You've just typed in who am I, and it's replied, you are you. You're GNU to Linux. You're you. Your username. You go, oh, okay. Well, that's it. I mean, if you wanted to find your username in your system, it's several clicks to do that. Go try and find it. Go and find out where it is. If you need to quickly find out what your username is, this is why the terminal is so good. It's once you've got it open, once you've got it running, which they all have it installed, it's so much faster. So it's that's a very simple command, but that's the point. I want you to get used to how simple some of the commands can be. Next up, number 2 here is another very simple command. It's called pwd, and it stands for print working directory. When you type this in, it basically shows you where are you located on your PC right now. So if you're ever lost and you start diving into folders on your command line, you don't know where I am, pwd shows you what folder you're in. This is where you are on your computer right now. This is what we're looking at. And it shows you all your main sort of folder structure so you can see where you are. Simple as that. So we're in the GNU to Linux, and these are the folders in that. That's all it does. Print working directory. Very useful, very simple, but it's one that you come back to quite often when you're diving through the terminal. So that's a good one to remember. So print working directory. Really, really simple. And that brings us to our last one. And this one, if you thought pwd was simple, this one is a very common one that you'll use all the time, and it's simply ls, and that stands for list. You type list in, and now it's going to show you all the files inside those directories, a list of the files. Simple as that. You type in ls, no matter where you are in the terminal, you type in ls, it will just show you what files are currently where you are. And that's how easy the terminal is. Obviously, I've skipped some very complicated stuff, which you don't need to worry about right now. Now, there is one more important thing here. Let's say some of these commands do require like administrator access to do things. If you're doing updates, it will need the administrator to do that, because it won't just Linux won't just let anybody do stuff to your computer. You have to be the root, the super user, the administrator of the system to be able to do these big changes. And the word super user is a very key one, because to run a command as an administrator, you need to use sudo. You'll see this everywhere. And sudo stands for super user do. Super user do run this command. Then what it will do is prompt you for your password that you set up when you installed the system. It asks you for a root password or a super user password. This is the password it's looking for. Now, what you'll notice here is when you start typing your super secure password that you chose, it doesn't look like anything's happening. And this is where a lot of new users freak out a little bit. They get a bit worried here because they're typing in something and nothing's happening. And then they type it again and still nothing, and hit enter and it says error. It's because Linux will not show how many characters are in your password. So someone looking over your shoulder, having a quick look, they can't see if you've got a super short password or a super long password. They can't character count obviously, unless they can see you typing and you can hear your keys, but you can't visually see how many characters a password has. And that is done on purpose. That is a design choice and a security choice. So when it prompts you password, type in your super password, hit enter. That's all you need to do. And you see, it just runs and gives you an answer. And that is the key point. And this is where I say it's dangerous, just typing any old prompt in where you don't understand what the hell it does and hitting sudo in front of it, because you're giving super user privileges to that command. So you can do anything it wants. So that is a big warning, but don't be afraid of it if you know what the commands are. You've just learnt 3. You can use them as freely as you want. If you're not sure what they do, you can't remember, there's tons of guides out there and cheat sheets to remember what some of the commands are. And all these commands are pretty much the same on all distributions. It doesn't matter what distribution you're on. LS, PWD, sudo, it's all the same on all distributions. So it doesn't matter if you're running OpenSUSE like I am, or Ubuntu or Fedora, they'll all work. And obviously there's going to be specific commands for each of these distributions, but all these ones right now are all generic terminal commands that you can use. So just remember, key points: don't install any commands you don't know what they do. Get used to the terminal. You don't have to use it. If you really don't like it, you don't have to use it hardly ever. But it's a really cool tool. You're missing out on some really powerful features just for the fact because you don't want to use it. But so try and get comfortable with it. You may as well. And remember, it can do a lot of things. Well, it can do everything you can do with your mouse and keyboard, plus stuff you cannot do with your mouse and keyboard. So it is powerful enough to do things that you just cannot do visually, especially if stuff starts to go wrong and you don't quite know. Then the command line is the best way to find where those problems are coming in, because it will tell you what it's doing. If it runs an update, you'll see the list of updates that it's doing. You can see all that, where sometimes in the GUI, you don't see that. So there you go. That is your first dip into the terminal on your system. Congratulations. If you found this helpful whatsoever, please subscribe, please like the video, and keep an eye out for this whole series of I'm tackling one feature about Linux every video. We're not gonna go super complicated. I just want to get used to the terminology, and one thing at a time. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your Linux distribution. See you next time. Goodbye.